read this little piece that I wrote. One is, it's rather adult. So, okay. The other thing, in the interest of full disclosure, are we recording? Because this is totally going in my packet. Yeah?
Yes.
In the interest of full disclosure, I will be using a gay slur. So if that is a trigger for you, or if you need to take care of yourself, do what you need to do. I personally don't believe in putting exclamation points and ampersands and dollar signs in the middle of words that we don't like. I think it's infantilizing and frankly irresponsible, because it allows us to pretend they're not what they are. And I'm not interested in pretending things aren't what they are. I think it allows us to use words with impunity and without having to engage with them and without having to actually feel them in our mouths or experience them in the full weight of their power. So, trigger warning. The first thing I did when I realized I was going to Goddard is what any serious academic would do. I Googled the nearest gym. Oh, okay, so sidebar. Has anyone else noticed that one of the perks of pursuing a degree in higher ed is that you can totally rebrand the quirks of your life with artistic and intellectual words so that you sound more interesting and exciting? For example, I have a couple. Driving through an ice storm at 5:30 this morning so I could get to a gym, so I could look a certain way, so I could post naked selfies on the internet is not because I need validation and adoration from total strangers, and that is not a potentially dangerous way to bolster my self-worth. It is self-care. Checking all the faucets and lights in my house before I leave in the morning, sometimes for up to 20 minutes, to make sure that they're all off, and then doing the same thing with the back door to make sure it's locked. That is not a mild form of OCD, that is personal practice. Looking at gay porn for hours when I should be doing something constructive is not because I'm horny with an undeclared minor in procrastination. That is an area of inquiry. And not for nothing, I've already put it in my study plan so I can get credit for it. This semester, I'll be exploring the mating rituals of the North American male homosexual in the early part of the 21st century. Sources will include, but most certainly will not be limited to, rawbears.com, lustypuppies.com, and monstercockland.com. My critical response will be creative in nature. I wanted to get to the story. So, okay, so the gym I joined is kind of gross. It's dirty. There is paint peeling off of the wood paneling. It is old school, and I mean that literally. It's in an abandoned school. Where did I go? Oh my goodness. So most of it is in the basement, except the second floor has cardio equipment in it, and the owner referred to it as the cardiac floor, so I never went because it scared me. So there are no Bosu balls, there is no TRX, there's no Pilates room. This is not your grandmother's Upper East Side Health Club. This is rusty weights from 40 years ago. This is a gym. And I have to say, the other gym members made me nervous, because if I'm being blunt, and why not, they looked like walking hate crimes. They looked like the guys who'd leave church, beat up a faggot on the way to the bar, and not even bat an eyelash. So, and my impulse, my reaction in these situations where that kind of energy is predominant, is to shrink and to totally try and hide the queer, which I'm never sure is fairly successful, but so I try and bump up my performance of man. But then I realize I'm in Vermont. It's not Alabama. So these guys could totally be Bernie bros. They could be Jim Bernies. Anybody? Jim Bernies? I wrote it, and I knew it wasn't gonna work, but I really wanted to. So the fact that I couldn't kind of get a handle on who they were totally upset the whole balance of my thinking. They confused me in the way that Southern Jews confuse me. I mean, what did I know about them? All I really knew about them is that they have mullets, they wear pleated jeans at the gym, and they have absolutely no fucking idea how to work out properly. So that's the extent of my knowledge. And the whole kind of cyclone, this rabbit hole in my head, caused me to really have to confront my own prejudices, because I have them, because we all have them. I think it's part of being the human animal. It's just this natural inclination to distrust other and be suspicious of different. And I think it's our job as conscious human animals to push past that, to learn other, to discover different. And I have to tell you, at this point in my life, I no longer trust anyone who says they hold no prejudice, because it doesn't tell me that they don't, it just tells me that they're lying to themselves. It tells me they're not doing the work of asking questions of themselves and demanding answers. And how can we move to change others and change the world if we can't acknowledge that which lives in our very own hearts, even if it's ugly, especially if it's ugly? Ignoring something doesn't make it go away, it just makes us unable to change it. It's a lot like spelling the word faggot with an exclamation point, an ampersand, and a dollar sign. You can pretend the thing isn't the thing, but it's still there. Thank you.
All right, man.